Alright, we're going to be making 4 different holiday themed crafts today. The first is going to be a pine wreath. The second is a tree cookie owl. The third is little gnome. And the fourth is a reindeer ornament. So first, let's start out with our beautiful pine wreath. You're going to start with a paper plate. You're going to punch a hole right in the middle and then cut out that inside so that you're kind of making a donut shape with your paper plate. Then you're going to use that extra piece that you cut to put your paint on. So you're going to need some green paint, and kind of the darker green the better. That way if the paper plate is showing through the wreath, you won't really be able to notice it because it's painted green. And you're going to paint that whole paper plate that you have left with that green paint. And you're going to have to wait a bit for it to dry. So while you're waiting, you can get the other materials, a ribbon, some buttons or beads or berries, and some pine cones. You're also going to need some string, preferably green, but can be any color, some scissors, hot glue, and as much pine or evergreen needles that you can find. So with your paper plate, you are going to take your string and you're going to start wrapping it all the way around your paper plate. So kind of weaving it in and out of that donut shape. And you're going to go until you have a couple layers of that string, just so that when you start sticking the pine needles in, it's going to be sturdy enough. So now you're going to start sliding those pine needles, tucking them underneath that string just so that they stay in place. And you're going to layer up the pine needles so that hopefully you won't see any paper plate showing. And you're going to kind of finagle it however you want it to look. And you're going to make sure that all the needles are facing the same direction, just that it, looks pretty good. Alright, so once that's all filled in, you can start decorating with whatever you want. You can tie a little ribbon and glue that on. And, you can start gluing the rest of your little bits and bobs onto your wreath. And voila, your wreath is finished. Next, we are going to make our little owl ornament. So what you're going to need is some twine, a foam piece or construction paper, buttons in 3 different sizes, so medium, small, and large, some pipe cleaners, and a tree cookie. So you're going to start by drawing the wings on your tree cookie. So they're going to be 2 wing shapes, and then you're going to fill in those wing shapes with little ruffles or little scallop shapes. Next, you're going to take your foam, construction paper, and you're going to cut it into a little triangle for its beak. And that is going to go right in the middle of your tree cookie. Once that is glued down or stuck down, you are going to glue the eyes on. So you're going to start with the largest button and make 2 eyes for your owl. So yeah, starting with the biggest ones, and then you're going to make your way smaller. So then the middle, and then the smaller ones. So they look like ginormous owl eyeballs. Then you're going to make your little feet by taking one of the pipe cleaners and making an M shape. Then you're going to twist that M shape just so that's stuck together and look, more like it's turning into a foot. And then you're going to go back up with the pipe cleaner and twist that third piece again so that you can start to see that little talon shape for the little owl feet. And you're going to cut it to the size that you want. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other foot. Now it's time to glue on the feet. So you're going to flip the tree cookie over to the back and glue the feet on to the bottom of the back of that tree cookie. Alright, so the owl part is done, but now you need to turn it into an ornament. So that's where you're going to bring in the twine, and you're going to tie it into a loop, as big or as small as you want that loop, but just enough so that it can hang up. Alright, so then you're going to glue down that little loop. And my tip is to glue on the bottom so it sticks to begin with, and then put some glue over the top just so that it holds. And make sure to let it dry, and then there you have your ornament. Alright, our next project is a little gnome. So what you're going to need is some glue, scissors, puffballs, some white paint, pine cone, paintbrush, and some felt or construction paper. So you're going to start with your white paint, and you're going to dust some white paint over the edges of the pine cone just to make it look like there's some snow that's fallen on it. Then while that's drying, you're going to take the piece of felt and cut it into a half circle. Then you're going to twist it into a cone shape. So you're going to kind of fold it in on itself so that it starts looking like a cone. And that's going to be your little gnome's hat. Make sure you glue the edges down so that it doesn't come apart. And then you're going to stick it on the pine cone and kind of glue it down a little bit so that it stays in place. Alright, so once that is all glued down, then you're going to take one of the little pom-poms and you're going to glue it on top of its hat. So this one can be any color that you want, but whatever you want for the top of his little hat. Then you're going to take the other little pom-pom, and this one can be flesh colored, like you'll see in just a second. Our little flesh colored pom-pom, and glue it right underneath the hat to be its nose. Alright, and our last craft is going to be this little reindeer ornament. So what you're going to need is some foam or construction paper, a nut, some string or ribbon, a Sharpie, a little bead, and some hot glue. So first you're going to start by drawing some little eyeballs on that nut. There's 2 circles for its eyes. Then you're going to grab the hot glue and make a little dot for where its nose is going to be. And just carefully put that nose right on there. And let that dry. Now you're going to draw the shape of the antlers on your foam or construction paper. And then cut those out. Then you are going to hot glue the front of those antlers to the back of the reindeer's head. So now the reindeer is done, but it needs to be able to be hung up. So you're going to grab that ribbon or string and tie it into a loop. Again, this can be as big or as small as you'd like. You're the one hanging it. And then you are going to glue it between the antlers so that it stands up. And hang properly. Alright, and once it's dry, you have your reindeer ornament. It's all finished.